Imagine this is on top. Oh, interesting.
No, don't give me that.
Admit.
Can you ask this question? So like she's already on it right now. That's her name. When it's time for questions, I'll say, does anybody have questions? And then you guys can raise your hands to ask a question. No, Kai, you have to. It's an easy question.
Can I ask a question?
Feanna, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
I can't see her though.
Can you turn your camera on or?
Yeah, I can.
Well, you're,
There we go.
come on, Paula. I'm gonna tell her she doesn't want to talk to you. Almost.
Hi, Emma.
You guys
Hi,
all wait.
Malia.
Feanna, can you
Hello,
wait?
everyone.
You want them to ask you questions?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, do you want us to ask you questions?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Well, Maurice, you want to go first?
Guys, speak up really loud.
What is it like to have a roommate?
Can you hear her?
Can you repeat that? That's kind of.
She asked, what is it like to have a roommate?
Oh, it's actually very interesting. It was a bit of a change for me because I was not used to having a different person sleep in the same room as me. But eventually it was actually pretty nice to have someone who would share like cleaning duties, take out the trash, and like we share snacks too. So it's kind of like a good kind of like a good friendship you create with them. And it's very nice to meet their friends, them meet your friends. So it's like meeting a lot of new people.
Annika's gonna ask a question.
What are
Okay.
classes like?
Classes are actually not bad. I think it's just based on how I manage them as well. But and the fact that the courses, I feel like it's more introductory courses, so they're not as hard. But at the same time, like it's definitely not easy. So with with proper time management and like good schedules that you set up for yourself, it's manageable. Emma, you can ask a question.
What are your expectations versus what you actually are experiencing?
So it's kind of like the classes. I actually thought it was going to be super hard and stressful because like Madison is known as like one of the more difficult colleges. So I was very scared thinking I was going to like not pass my classes. And I thought it was going to be very hard to make friends, but it's actually super easy. Everyone's super welcoming and friendly. And like I said, the classes are manageable if you're like being good with time management and like restrictions against yourself.
What is college really like?
I say it's a new experience. For me, since I'm the first in my family to actually leave and go to different city or university, I didn't really have much of anyone to talk to about like what moving to a new city is going to be like, and especially by myself. So it was very new. I would say you have to be like get used to really being on your own and keeping up with yourself, especially since in high school, like the grades the grade you're in now, your teachers aren't gonna like be there to tell you to finish your homework yet to kind of keep yourself on track. But I think it's an experience that if you could, that everyone should try it out because it's pretty fun.
Okay. How did the club help you prepare for college?
I would definitely say the sanitation, like working at the Boys and Girls Club, making sure everything's clean and everything, that has helped me a lot with with making sure that I stay healthy, keeping myself healthy, and like reducing my risk of COVID from myself and others. And BGC is like Boys and Girls Club itself. When I first joined, I was very shy, but because I joined, I was able to develop new leadership skills, communication, and teamwork, which has allowed me to work better with my peers here at Madison.
What do you wish you'd have known before getting?
I really wish I would have known more about budgeting and finances because I am horrible at that. Like, even with scholarships and everything, but because you go to like a different city with some friends too, you really want to like try new things, try new restaurants. So you can just kind of like spending a lot. But at the same time, I feel like if I learned more about budgeting, I would have like known better. Like, oh no, I shouldn't really be doing this because it's not really a need to do, especially during a pandemic. So learning how to find budget better would have been very beneficial for me.
And then Shang's question is, looking back at high school, do you have any advice for members?
So I would say is to start time management for yourself on a strict schedule because like in college you you work at your own pace and like you kind of have to know like when your deadlines are. So by giving yourself like a checkoff list, making a checkoff list saying that, oh, you have to finish this before you're able to have like pretty much like a free time for yourself. And that can eventually like help avoid procrastination as well. And apply for as many scholarships as you can because those numbers eventually build up to like helping you pay for tuitions, books, living, and that can help or living arrangements, and that can help out with your finances and your parents as well. And definitely create good relationships with your teachers because when you need recommendation letters and you really want someone to put in good words for you, having those close connections really help out. And for me personally, since like I'm taking an English course and I always go back to ask my English teachers or even Carol to help me look over my writing my speeches, my writings. So that's very helpful and beneficial. So I would say make sure you have like close connections and just good relationships with your teachers.
And then did you have like anything that you wanted to tell them other than what they asked you? Just about like being down in Madison, your time there, and like how you transitioned from being in Wausau to a bigger city.
So from transitioning, especially since I was by myself, I don't have family here in Madison, so it was kind of difficult. Like if I needed anything or like an important emergency happened, I kind of had just to be like really be a full adult myself and just kind of take care of the problem myself because if it was really something, then the closest connection I would have is like my family was like 2 hours away, so it had to be like life or death situation for them to come here or me to go down because it's a lot of traveling. So I think just having to learn how to adapt to the living arrangements around me and like the resources I have around me to kind of like avoid a lot of traveling back and forth.
Like Feanna said, she is the first in her family to go to a different university in a different cities. Do you think you'll be like that? You are? So, well, Emma said that she's going to be a first generation college student. Do you have any like, tips for her as she prepares to go into high school and then transition into being on her own in college?
So I actually am a first generation college student as well. And like I would say just coming from me, there's a lot of expectations, but at the same time, because you're a first generation student, you really don't have like a set of expectations set for you because usually there's like, oh, you have to make sure you do better than someone, but because you're the first to go, I would just say strive for your best and do your best. Like no matter what you do is for you. And like goals and like major wise, like for me, I'm still like kind of iffy on my major, but at the same time, I know that as long as I keep like continuing my education and going forth with it, like eventually I know I would end up somewhere successful, which I know for sure you would do that as well.
What? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any other questions? How is she? Yeah. Okay. So Annika's new here and she just wants to know how long you worked at the Boys and Girls Club. So you can kind of tell her about your background at the Boys and Girls Club as a member and then transitioning to a staff.
Okay. So I joined the Boys and Girls Club in 6th grade, so that's about 7 years now. So I've been a member for 7 years. And then I became a staff during my last year of high school, which is like, so I think it's been about a year since I worked at Boys and Girls Club. So I've been a staff for about a year. I worked at the Green Hex site, and then during the summer I worked at the Wausau site, which is the site you guys are right now. But as a staff, because I worked with people around my age, I felt like it was kind of like a harder role to take control of, because I had to make sure that I was still respected as a staff, but because we're the same age, it was still having that connection and respect as a staff and a peer.
I don't think I do. It's just I don't have anything anymore. I was just watching some funny videos. I was just laughing. So I don't know if I have a question. We're just laughing at what I was doing. But yeah.
If you want, you can talk about your experience doing like Youth of the Year and stuff, because we still do Member of the Month. And I don't know if anyone here has been picked yet, but just that experience. Oh, Paul has, Malia has. I have. Probably like how you went from Member of the Month to being Youth of the Year at our club and then of the whole state. Just that experience.
So for Member of the Month, I was usually nominated for Power Hour or just academic success. And eventually, once I was recommended to apply for Youth of the Year, I went towards that, and eventually that kind of just consisted of like writing essays to explain my club experience, what my passions were, and like just kind of how the club impacted me in general. And I would say the process of it, I actually felt it was a very good experience, because like all the staff members supported me, encouraged me, always said positive things, and they kind of critiqued me and making sure that I did my best. The club staff itself had like trainers. I don't remember her name, but she used to be a news reporter who currently works at a bank right now, but she was like a professional speaker or something, and she helped me out with my speech and making sure that it was like almost perfection, to make sure I did good in my speech. And the running stay and everything, I would say it was a very fun experience, because I got to meet a lot of new people who I'm still friends with today. And although they don't go to the same college as me either, but then most of them were currently enrolled in college. But it's a very good experience, and I would say if you are nominated for it, to like strive for it and do it for it, because it's a very fun experience whether you win or not. And if you do, there's like lots of opportunities that are given, and I feel like that's a very good thing for every individual to have.
Anybody else have any Annika wants to know how long you've been living in Madison. And I guess you can talk about how school has been with you, because I know here in Wausau they were virtual for the longest time and now they're back in person. So like, is your classes in person?
So I've been living. Originally I was supposed to have a in-person class, but because more students enrolled in it, so they made it online, virtual. So all my classes are virtual actually, but I just still live in Madison and on campus in the dorms. I moved in towards the end of September, so I've been living here for about 2-3 months.
Ever been back? No. Where?
Emma, did you have a question?
What do the dorms look like?
I really wish I was in my dorm. I'm at a friend's house right now, but the dorms are actually quite smaller, I will say. But then surprisingly, they can fit in a lot of things because I packed so much, which I think you do not need to pack that much because I packed so much clothes that I don't really wear half of it. It's always consisting of like the same sweats and t-shirts because I barely go out anymore. But there's there's like a fridge and there's 2 desks, 2 beds, and then a window, and then like basically just like depending how you want your bed, you can put it higher to stuff like drawers or just stuff under it. If not, you can leave it low. I would say for me, since I'm on the shorter end, I was not able to loft it. I was not able to loft it higher because that would be a difficulty for me getting in bed just with my height. But other than that, I would say the dorms are not bad. The closet space is pretty spacious with all my stuff I have as well.
You don't have any more questions? They don't have any more questions, but if you had anything else you wanted to say before we got off, you can.
I would just say keep doing what you're doing, focus in school. When it comes to applying for colleges, just know you have a lot of resources and make sure you do financial aid as well because that especially helps out with like finances for your parents and your family. But other than that, that's all I have.
Oh, what do you say?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Have fun.